Well, hello everybody. Dave Watts in the house. Rob Turner. Hello, hello.
Great to be here with the two of you.
Yes, it's nice to be under you.
Well, welcome under him.
If I had a quarter.
Doesn't have to be like that, right? You can switch.
You know,
brought to us
you
by
could.
Video.
Kind of.
So we're here tonight doing a live broadcast. This is our first time doing a stream. I'm really excited for this, Dave. Thank you so much for being willing to do this.
Appreciate it. What else do I have to do?
I mean, I don't know. You could. Isn't Colorado open like Georgia now? I mean, you go to bars and get.
No, I think we're a very cautious state.
Are the dispensaries open?
Well, they never closed. We're not that cautious. In fact, that's pretty much what got most people through. The liquor stores and the
they got them through because they were so high they didn't even know they were quarantined. They're like, I didn't know I was supposed to stay home. I thought
there's some of that. Yeah, there's some Cheech and Chong moments. Like all the smoke clears away and it's like June. Guys are like, what?
That fish show Tuesday wasn't live, dude.
Thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. We're here with Dave Watts, part of the Beyond the Music series with Positive Legacy. We're here supporting Positive Legacy's COVID-19 relief fund, supporting the music crew, the live music crew, as well as the live music crew for the Motet as well. So it's not just our crew. I mean, you can actually go to the Motet's. You can support the Motet's crew by going. He'll drop this little line down here. You can support by going to this website. This was actually from a couple days ago, the screenshot. So it could have been more, but it's not at 3,000. So let's get it to 3,000 tonight. It's up to you all at home to help us out.
These guys are hardworking. They deserve every freaking penny. And plus, they have less to do than we do in quarantine. For me, it's like my drum set's right there. I get back there and play every day. I'm on my computer. I'm on my keyboards. I got a lot of stuff to do. But the crew's not going to sit around packing gear and putting it back in cases just to kill time.
That's right. Now, Rob. Yes. Where'd Rob go? Where'd Rob go? There he is. Rob, Dave and I have a question for you.
Okay.
What is under the curtain back there? Oh, my God. Do you have a body? What is that? Jesus. Are you?
Scary.
There's no.
Scary.
I'm sitting here in limbo. I
wanna
was
know
supposed
what
to
books you're
move.
reading.
I was supposed to move right before all this, so I had everything packed up. Literally, was one day away, and I had like cleaned out my cupboards and everything. I had like gotten all my groceries down to the lowest amount, and then boom, shelter in place. And I just have three little areas of the house I hang out with.
I think he's got something really embarrassing under that sheet, and he doesn't want to show us.
Well, she didn't listen.
Yeah.
Hey, Amanda, thanks for tuning in, and she wants to tell everyone thanks for all the love while we are home. Rob, I don't think Amanda's going to be asking you to help clean her house, but Dave, you've created some video content we're going to share tonight. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
How is it creating during all this?
How is it creating?
Yeah.
Oh, it just like it's the most. It just brings you back to why you did music in the first place, because we're not necessarily thinking about the gig, ticket sales, how much money we're making. We're just playing to play because we haven't been playing. So it reminds me of when I moved to Colorado like 25 years ago, and I had like 2 gigs a month, but my rent was like $250. So I could do like 2 or 3 gigs, $100 gigs a month, and then just schlep around and practice and call my friends up. I mean, basically that's what I did when I moved to Colorado. Is I just called my friends, or not even my friends, find friends by like talking to other musicians and being like, who's the bass player, who's the keyboard player we can call.
Well, that was like back in the day when you were at Netherland, right? Weren't you in Netherlands at the time? Or was it before?
We used to have this house in Boulder called Double Dig. Did I ever tell you about that place?
No.
Oh yeah, this is a good one. That's why I left. I lived in Boston for like 8 years. Got sick of the rat race. Moved to Colorado. I was like, I just want like some kind of hippie commune to live on with my friends. I had like 3 people I knew in Colorado. So we found this place. There was like 20 acres. It was right outside of Boulder. Like literally get on your bike and be in downtown Boulder in 10 minutes. But it was on all these fields, and it was 4 acres of land. We just took the place over. There was like an outbuilding where I had my bed and my studio, and there was a barn. My girlfriend had her bed and her studio, and then we had the house. My buddy Jamie lived in the house. We had like probably like 11 people on the property at one point. There was a teepee. There was like a little RV stream. Travis from String Cheese lived in a tent in the back. He lived in a tent in the back and walked around the yard in bare feet all winter long. He's just that kind of guy.
You actually told us about the place. You had never named it though, and so you had
Double
tons
Dig.
of jam sessions, right?
That's where String Cheese, when they first moved to Colorado, they used to store their bus there. Kang moved into the living room. Travis lived in a tent. We had like 8 other musicians. There would be like 4 jam sessions going on around the property
At one time.
And then it would all congeal. Usually, like after some mushroom tea, it would all congeal into one space in the living room somewhere, and it would just be like madness.
So basically, Rob, what it was is Halloween, pre-Halloween.
Yeah, the early days, the early days.
Well, Dave had some experience with that. He had a house in Newton where people would come play, including members of Fish, right?
Neptune.
Fish guys would come by.
Neptune, yeah, you know the history.
Yeah, I mean, you were in Chakra. The band was a huge deal in Boston. The members of Fish would go see you.
Yeah.
Would collect tapes of Chakra and trade them with their friends, like we did of their band.
Yeah. That was fun. They played at this spot called the Paradise, which was about 20 minutes from our house.
Paradise.
And they would rent a bus and get all their fans in this bus from Burlington to come down to Boston. And then and afterwards we'd have parties and they come over and hang out and jam. I mean, having a band house. This is what I'm saying. I'm like back to my roots right now. I have a house right now. I think my basement is the only venue in Colorado that's open. But every a couple times a week we have some jam sessions down here. Some of the tunes you're going to hear tonight are from those jam sessions.
Are you doing any composing online at all?
Yeah. Well, one of the things
Rob,
that you're going to hear as well is a drum piece that I wrote. And I got our boy Yahuba Garcia.
Yahuba.
He plays out.
Yahuba, not from Cuba.
He's been playing with Turquoise a bunch, actually.
Oh, nice.
It's pretty cool. But he's done a bunch of gigs with Motet. So I got him and Jason Han from Cheese to do a little drum trio that we turned into a drum sextet. via
But you're
the magic-
overlaying, right? Like one lays
Yes.
down a track, and then I'm
magic
hearing. Are you hearing
technology.
anything about this? We're getting to the point where we can overcome latency, and people are going to be able to jam live online. Have you heard anything
Yeah, I
about
have not. I don't think. No, I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever get to that point. Maybe. I mean, it's speed of light, so you'd think that we'd be able to, but yeah, that latency thing is
Yeah, it's
doesn't make it easy. Exactly.
So
Doesn't help when you're trying to
speaking
about
of
latency.
speaking of latency, the videos tonight, we hope they stream properly and the audio streams properly. We want to thank everyone for tuning in. Bear
see
with
one?
us.
I wanna
This
see
is
one.
our first time doing this. So
I wanna see one of these
If
videos.
there's any issues, it's
I'm your
not my
guinea pig.
fault. It's Tyrone. So
going on here?
let's go ahead and start kicking it off with This Ain't Tyrone.
I'm gonna dance the mess away. This ain't Tyrone.
All right. You guys still there? Oh, hold on. I got you guys muted. There we go. Rob.
I'm going to need an appearance fee for that. I didn't know I was in the video.
Apparently you were.
Well, I apologize. We're trying this new technology out, and it seems like we may have little latency issues. Speaking of latency issues, so what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we're not going to play the videos here live, but what we'll do is put up stream after and share the videos with everyone so you all can see exactly what this music was and get it out there because it's really good. And by the way, the Tyrone is one of my favorites. I love when Jim James does it in My Morning Jacket, of course.
Well, we call this This Ain't Tyrone because she mashes up Inner City Blues choruses. This ain't living. So we figured.
Now, who is she?
Together.
Yes,
Miss Jessica Jones.
Very nice voice.
Yes, she's from Denver, Colorado.
Does she perform out there, or does she have a touring band or anything?
I guess she tours under her own name, but she did play at the El Chapultepec down in Denver every Sunday, and then Herb's every Tuesday. But it's one of those situations where we're really concerned that neither of those places may reopen. I hate to see where some of these smaller spots, music or otherwise, like my kids, the parkour studio just went out of business, because they can't pay rent. And it's like, well, why don't, we should just cover people's rent instead of just throwing money at big corporations or using these programs that are kind of a roundabout way to deal with the issue. It's like if someone's going out of business because of rent, then they should, that should be the first thing that's forgiven for however long this lasts.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting though is
they could have frozen loans and frozen rent instead of sending out money. You're exactly right. That's a key point. Go ahead, Seth.
But they are doing that though. You'll find that. Here's what's fucked up is that some landlords are getting their mortgage deferred for, I don't know, like a year, and then they're still charging rent. Like they're getting deferred. Like what the fuck?
That is not right. Yeah, that is not right.
People's true character is coming out in these times. Would you say?
Yeah, I hope it's not every man for himself. I hope it's kind of bringing people together. And I hope that we can figure out a way if clubs like Herb's and Chapultepec are having tough times, or even Cervantes, we all know that club, that they get some support from us and whoever else that can afford to support their employees, support them on their rent, just get them through this. Obviously, once we're all back in it, they're going to be able to make their nut because these places have been around for a long time.
Right, but we're not getting back in there that quickly. We're the last ones back. I
know, right? Yeah.
But let's get back to the personnel. Who the really nice guitar keyboard interplay on the instrumental there? Who are those two fellows?
Okay, so that's Marcus Rizak on guitar.
Oh, that was Marcus. Okay, of course. I know him. Not by face. I know him by sound.
And Casey Russell. He's another Denver guy from Chicago, actually. And, Minneapolis. Marcus from Chicago. And he does a lot of, Casey does a lot of shows down in New Orleans, like these tribute shows. And he has one called The Purple Party. They've done a bunch of shows in New Orleans and up in Colorado. And that's Brian Adams on bass from Dead Fish Orchestra.
And a very snazzy dresser on drums.
Yeah, you like that? My friend made that shirt.
Someone had a good point just now that maybe the breweries will step up and become the venues of the future because they
whoa, hold on, Rob. The breweries? Are you talking? Is this a baseball thing? Like the Brewers? What are you talking about?
No, they're in it worse than we are.
No, the breweries are doing great. They're selling more booze than they have ever.
Oh no, I would think. Brewers. Yeah.
The baseball, yeah. I'm getting confused with my own joke.
The breweries joke. The breweries don't rely on the cover charge as much. They have the alternate sources of income, so they might be able to be a source of easing our way back in with under.
I think we're all gonna have to get used to playing like 200, 300 seat places for the next while,
or 200, 300 people in 12.
Yeah. What just happened?
That was badly timed. Could have been good if it had been timed better, but
That was the worst drummer segue I've ever heard. Yeah, that guy. Either you need some lessons or it needs to get fired. Is that you?
it's like. Let's try it again.
Yeah,
It's like an Anton Fig who doesn't listen.
That's good. Did you hear the one about the drummer who got locked in his car?
At Lock-In.
Oh, did that happen?
Yes.
I don't know, but it's probably
Wow.
Kreutzmann. Got to be Kreutzmann.
All right.
No, what's the joke? He stepped on your jokes. Try it again.
I told her. It doesn't matter.
No. Go ahead. We're here. It's all you.
Did you hear the one about the guitar player who locked his keys in the car? Took him 2 hours to get the drummer out.
Was he using a drum
Hey,
key?
man.
Oh, I changed it. I was embarrassed.
Was that
Here
you?
I could do another one though if you want. Here, Rob, you say a joke.
Me say a joke?
Better.
Thank you.
That was better.
All right, so let's get up and close here. Now let's get up and close and personal
Seth,
right
that's
now.
too much, Seth. That's too much.
Let's no. Oh, come on. It's just a nose. It's just a nose.
It's good.
That's better.
All right. So, Dave, are these people living with you?
Yeah, what's the deal? You have certain people you've chosen to be exposed to, and how many people is
everyone
that?
chug Listerine before they come in?
But you also have JP over there, don't you?
JP?
JPK.
Oh, PJ.
Yeah. I get
PK.
the letters mixed. PK. Thanks.
You didn't
See?
say PJ. PK. Yeah, you know PK.
I mean, well, you guys are like playing Zonk for like hours upon hours a day. You have a commune? What is going on over there?
Told you, it's just like the old days. Just like the good old days. Travis is in the back in a tent. Kang's in the living room. We got Bussy out front.
So, did a lot of bands come out of that house in Colorado? Did musicians meet each other?
Yeah.
Well, talk a little bit about that. Talk a little bit about that.
It was
There's
a
string
different scene.
cheese, of course.
Yeah. There was a different scene back then. It was more folk, rock, kind of hippie rock. It wasn't so much of funk or even.
Well, you were doing the
jam.
Afro-Cuban stuff too back then, right?
That was later. That was like towards the end, right when I moved to Boulder. That was a certain thing, and then like 4 years later, we got into the Afro-Cuban thing. Maybe even a little bit later than that, like 5-6 years later.
Well,
like the
I
first
said
thing I
Afro-Cuban, but
started.
I was thinking more of the Cuban, like the real Cuban, like.
Yeah, Afro-Cuban. That's the roots right there.
Yeah.
We went to Cuba twice to study.
That's right.
Pod drums. So like
You snuck in there.
snuck in. I just snuck in last year. I went last year too. It was amazing. I think they still have flights.
I don't know if anyone has flights at this point, but yeah.
Would Vince and Drew from Leftover, were they part of that when in your pre?
They would come over for sure. Yeah, we'd have hangs for sure. They didn't live there per se. There was probably like a dozen different musicians living there, different times. It was just a great, moment in time for us to be just weird and creative and just silly and I don't know. It was like there was some freedom there for sure. We all had, like I said, like $200 in rent a month. We had, just local gigs only. We weren't touring. We all thought String Cheese was crazy for touring.
Jeff Franca just checked in with us, and he's a drummer who is very much a proponent of composition. Now, is this? Of course you do. Were drummers? Were you composing back then? Was Jeff around back then? Did you find, or is the drummer composing thing been more of a recent phenomenon?
See, I met our percussionist Scott Messersmith in like 1999, and I had just started the Motet. Our first gig was the Mountain Sun. Do you know the Mountain Sun?
Oh yeah, of course.
All right, so our first gig was the Mountain Sun Halloween party. And I know I keep mentioning mushrooms, but they made mushroom beer. That was like the thing for the party. They made this mushroom beer, and everyone drank this mushroom beer. And so they.
Oh,
We're losing you, Watts.
Your
Come
mic's
back.
cutting out on us. Oh,
Better?
Yeah,
Go
you
back
know
to
what though?
mushroom-
You had that.
go back
You
to
had the
mushroom beer.
You had the Telefunken in the video, and now you're using like an Amazon mic. What the fuck? Come on. But you had that Telefunken. I saw that beautiful Telefunken she was playing. What
Oh my,
what is going on?
I can't touch her mic.
Go back to mushroom beer part.
Yeah, right. So basically, back then we were all into playing jazz. So I'd take a jazz standard, then I would on one piece of paper, write the arrangement on another piece of paper, and then take another jazz standard and put on that piece of paper, and we just play funk grooves and read through these charts, playing jazz tunes all night, and it was just a chaos, just people high on mushrooms. We're just getting weird on jazz. It was the first Motet gig, and we played till the sun came up. There was charts everywhere on the floor, just puddles of mushroom beer. It was crazy. So I was like, I had to name it, so I called it the Dave Watts Motet. That was our first gig.
Did you have fun with segues from the beginning? Because a lot of bands that I know who like to improvise really well, and maybe they're a little older now and whatever, and they're just a little more lazy about the segue. They'll do great improv and then just stop and start the next song. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
What? You still? I thought you still liked the slip.
oh, I'm not sure that's what I'm talking about.
That was cold. That was cold, man.
They haven't even played in a decade. Seth doesn't know how to do.
I anytime I can say the slip and upset Rob Turner, it just makes me happy.
What do you mean, T-Rex?
A number of things.
Are you talking about T-Rex?
Oh dear. Look, you're halfway through that mason.
Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, hold on. Let's get a close up on that. What, Rob? Get that right. Yeah. What in the? Oh my gosh.
Man.
What
about
is
mine.
that?
Why not?
My last name is Weiner. It's not. Oh my. Oh my.
It's an honor of you. Let's see yours.
So yeah, but talk about that.
Okay.
About
Okay.
those. Don't spill on the mic.
One sip. You need to go refill.
Oh,
Seriously,
I will.
Dave,
I was planning on 4 more videos here.
I know. We had plenty of time.
when
Probably a
musicians
better way
were
to do it.
doing,
Can you just hold your phone up to the? No.
Like to the winery, yeah.
I want to ask this because when you're doing these loose jam sessions, is there often kind of a difference in how seriously musicians are taking it? Like some will be like just jerking around while others are really trying to do something. Can that be a problem sometime? And then do you just kind of will people into coming? How do you negotiate through that while maintaining the party? We're having a good time
You
here.
just have someone discreetly turn their amp down. They don't notice that they're getting quieter and quieter.
Really?
Just kidding.
That's what Mike does to me. What Seth does to me with the mic.
It's like you know what? I think everyone plays up. I think that's the key, is to get everyone to play up. Because you could have a room full of the best musicians and it goes nowhere if the chemistry's not right. You know what I mean? I've seen that before. I've seen some incredible players get on stage and it's just kind of flat. You know, I saw that. And so like you have to sort of be aware of how to create a vibe. You know what I mean? Maybe it means bringing some tunes in. Maybe it means some form of encouragement. Maybe it means like even stopping, you know, and moving on to something else. There's all sorts of ways to manipulate the vibe in the room to get things to move forward. But I think that once you can sort of harness that, then everyone in the room plays up to where it is. You know what I mean? And it doesn't take a lot of technique to be a musician who contributes to whatever music is happening.
A lot of it is listening, right?
A lot of it's listening and making good choices, you know? And so the people who listen and are paying attention, who care, are the ones who make good choices. So that you want to encourage that kind of environment.
Well, do you feel that now that things are slightly changing, do you feel that maybe we are building a new listening audience? I mean, think about it, right? Rob, you're someone that's always upset about people not listening to their shows. Now, Dave, do you find that maybe that people are at home and being quiet because they're in their own homes and watching this music, that maybe they're going to start listening at shows?
I don't know if they're listening. It's hard for me to even know what's happening out there. We're just kind of doing things. I'm like, is anybody listening? I have no idea, you know? Like, I know that when we're at my house, you know, my roomies and my girl, they all listen, but they also like cook dinner, so it's hard to say. But I think that for us as musicians, not having this rowdy, big old crowd in front of you is pretty cool because it gives you this sort of opportunity to play things that are more chill. It was all glitched out, but that last track was kind of an example. We're just playing this like down tempo version of these tunes, and it's I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. Like the dynamic is way different, and I tend to sort of default to this sort of louder, aggressive thing, and I think it's pretty cool to be in a situation where we're playing music that's like for a more mellow environment.
I do have to say that we have a local venue called Terminal West. It's become a favorite of Seth and mine. And you were the most recent band I've seen there. Yeah. And the crowd you drew was really a combination of electric and responsive and dancing, and they were listening as well. So you got the best of both worlds at that show.
Nice. Yeah, that's a great room. Atlanta's a great city.
We love you.
Yeah.
Now, Rob, as you notice to your right, this is all the drummers he was just talking about.
Jason.
Now, no one can
can't hear it.
Oh, no, it's not meant to be heard. It's not meant to be heard at that moment, remember? Because
Seth's going to play it later. How are people going to be able to see these videos later, Seth?
Why, of course, if they go to Positive Legacy's Facebook page or the Motet's Facebook page or Inside Out WTNS's Facebook page, we will put it all there for everyone in a stream for everyone to see. So
and also,
we'll have it all there for you.
While we're talking about it, Dave, what are if people want to contribute and then maybe they also want to support the Motet by buying some of their stuff? What are some of the merchandise items that are available on the Motet website right now?
That's a good question.
There's got to be some Lyle written.
Well,
shirts,
let's check it out and see,
huh? Albums that are probably signed by the band. So honestly, I didn't do my homework. I got to be truthful with you guys.
What's the website?
Did not do my homework.
Well, that's okay. Seth's
going to show you right now.
Let's go take a look right now.
Let's do a little peruse of the Motet merch.
Let's do that. All right, here we go. So I'll close these things here and clean this up. Let's look at the Motet here. You go to their store, right? It's spelled STORE in case anyone is 5 or maybe 4. 4-year-olds can read store.
They don't have credit cards, though.
Well, actually, I do know. You know what? Surprisingly, they do. They use their parents' phones. So you can get T-shirts. You can get albums. You can get new albums, old albums.
Ooh, what's that right there?
You get mugs.
Yeah, what's that vinyl?
Which one?
Oh, I like
this
that.
here?
Oh, that's our
the Totem.
That's a Totem record. Yep.
Oh, I might pick that up
Ooh,
myself.
that's a cool shirt. I want that one. The one on the right.
Dude, this one here. Hold on. We can go back to that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to buy Dave a shirt, and we're looking at you, Jeff, who is, if you're still listening, you can buy Dave a shirt. I know you're super busy with your percussion music master lessons course. Dave, you saw what he's doing. It's pretty awesome. He's got a whole roots reggae course he's doing on that live music masters. You should do a Cuban one, like a whole Cuban drum thing.
That's a great idea, actually.
You also need
7%.
You need a Motet face mask too.
I know. I was thinking if everyone's doing face masks, I thought we could do Motet respirators.
There you go.
Step it up.
But the bottom line is, folks, go to the Motet's website, check out their stuff, support them and their crew. And again, we've talked about this several times. I'm going to put it back up for you one more time. You can go to their crew site and support their crew. It's simple. You just click the amount that you want to give or give the amount that you want to give. I mean, you don't even have to go with what's there. You go with what you want to give. Go with your heart. Give with your heart. And it's super simple to do. You can do it right there. But now, while we're talking about all of this, Dave, we are supporting Positive Legacy's COVID-19 relief fund for the music crew. And I want to ask you, what about your memories of you've done Positive Legacy stuff in the past, and I say stuff like Days of Service, and I'm curious, what maybe was your favorite Jam Cruise Day of Service that you did? Maybe it was Jamaica when you were playing in that Roots experience, or what was some do you remember? You've done a lot of stuff with Positive Legacy throughout the years.
Remember that one we did? Is this okay if I put him on the mic right here?
Yeah, it's totally fine if you put him.
Sound weird?
It's very Barry White.
Yes. That Jamaican was a trip, man. We ate goat head soup
Oh.
Were you there for that, or were you just recalling us going?
I was recalling. I mean, I was on every jam cruise from 1 till
The last
now.
one.
Yeah.
The final one.
Yes, the final one.
I
The
did.
final sailing. Hey, made it to 18, high seas. What can I tell you? But
What did they give you?
But
They give you like a bathrobe?
no, I got nothing. 18 years. I think maybe a thank you, but from you. I don't know if I got it from them. But hey, whatever.
I know what he didn't
Come
get.
on, Annabelle.
His podcast didn't get support. I know that.
They don't know we have a podcast, Rob. Don't be rude.
Oh.
But go on, tell us more, because
wine
you've done some amazing stuff for Positive Legacy. So please don't be shy. Tell us about.
Well, we did that. That one was incredible. Although they made me dance with my lady in front of the whole crowd, along with these Jamaican kids, and that was truly amazing. Try not to think about that too much. The jam after that was great. The goat head soup was incredible. Just getting into the mountains of Jamaica was amazing. We went to Roatan and gave instruments away to the students at a small community center there. That was pretty incredible. Man, so many things from Jam Cruise are just blurry.
How about any George Porter Jr. Collaboration stories from Jam Cruise?
That's like 20. Yeah.
That's the jam room. That's like every night in the jam room.
Did you ever host a jam room? I can't remember.
Yeah, the last time we did it, not this past year, but the year before. It was the last night. No, it was like the second night.
And I'm sure it's a blur, but you must have favorite musical moments from within those jam rooms.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like, yeah, it is a blur, because I'm like, I played with this guy, but was it with this guy too? And then this guy was playing, and man.
Were you there when Dr. Lonnie Smith was on board?
Oh yeah, he played in the jazz room,
Doctor,
right?
yes, he did.
Yeah. That was who was it? Do you remember who he was with? Was it like Kraz?
Oh no, it's like everyone. Like Grant Green Jr. I was on board that year with him.
Yeah. Well, I think Corey Henry sat in that show.
So when all these variety of musicians are sitting in, you have to adjust not just to playing with them, but also how hard you hit the drums, how you hold the pocket. You constantly have to change your approach as the musicians come and go, right?
Oh yeah, depending on the vibe. I mean, when you're in the jam room and it's like late, everyone's just kind of going for it.
When it's late.
I mean, late, like 4. Midnight's one thing. By the time it's 4, it's like everyone's going for it. You know what I mean?
Well, that was the thing.
Well, there's the jazz room too, which I really appreciate they started doing, which is a little
Thank
more
you.
low-key. A little more low key. That was a good vibe.
The best thing about the jazz room when we started it was like, let's start the jazz room. It was the one to like get this real intimate kind of jazz vibe. Like all the roots. Bring the roots. And then Annabelle comes up and she's like, well, can we get the Hammond B3 and can we get these amps? And it's like, this is a jazz room. The idea was supposed to be like barely any amps, just like an old school like Smalls, New York City, and and then the artist would get in there and they'd be like, oh yeah, can we get this and can we get that? And it's like, it's just jazz room. We don't need another jam room.
Yeah, there's something to be said for starting to drink at 4.
Oh yeah.
So Seth,
you know what I mean? Like the rowdy level is stepped up by the time that any of those shows start. So,
like Ghost.
I want to ask a question that goes back even further. Can you do a live on camera Wayback Machine? We're going back to the 80s. Dave is the drummer in Chakra. They're a huge band in New England, to such an extent that Fish is a fan of theirs. Fish, the members are at their shows all the time. So when Chakra would go play Burlington, they would I know they'd visit John Fishman's house, maybe even stay there. And they became such good buddies that when they finally went to Colorado, Fish let them use their guest list. That's not their guest list, their mailing list. Dave, what do you remember from John Fishman's house in Burlington when you would visit? And you were probably treated pretty well because they were legit fans of Chakra. So they probably welcomed you with open arms.
Oh, it was weird. It was very weird. It was very round. He had a very round house. Like it was.
Would you say it's a brick house?
No, it wasn't funky like
Just
a brick
round,
house.
round house.
It
Okay,
was,
got
it
it.
was
Round
truly a
room.
round house, like completely round. It wasn't a ball or a sphere. It was like a half a sphere. And then it had a balcony on the inside. And then we went to this one party he had there, and Fishman just loved playing drums with this guy named Willis. And I think he lived in his car in the woods. I think that was the story they were telling us. But he was just a little hairy guy that just played punk music. And so most of the party we were set. Nice. Where did you get that? That's me. I'm upside down right there. I'm the one that's smiling, but I'm actually frowning.
Wait, is that you? Which one?
The one
That's you.
second from the left.
Yeah,
Upside
this
down.
here. Yeah.
Huh? I was like,
This guy here.
Yeah, that me.
The mouse. Like I'm picking your nose.
Yep.
Okay. At any rate, so
That's me.
shocker. Go on.
Yeah, it's shotgun. But anyway, what was I saying? The party, Willis.
Willis was the drummer playing with Fishman. Yeah,
No,
when he's
he's
talking
a
about
guitar
Fish,
player.
Seth, how about just letting him talk?
He was a guitar player. Just.
Oh, we lost your mic again. We lost your mic again.
How about that?
Is
that better?
Yep.
Yeah, good.
Yep.
Like
Oh,
punk.
now it's
Two
off again.
punk.
You're choppy. It's not my fault this time.
You're choppy.
That's better.
Is that good?
That reminded me of
Yeah.
Chipper Jones for some reason when you did that. Go on.
Where was I?
Let's see that Rob is. Hold on a second. Ladies and gentlemen,
Story
Inside Out
time.
with Turner and Seth. Rob, tell us where we are in the interview.
Well, we had talked about the drummer who lived in his car, and you moved on to you were starting to tell us about a guitarist, someone else.
Oh, the guitarist. No, Fishman was the drummer. The
Yeah.
guitarist was Willis. He lived in his car. They played punk music for like 3 hours every night, and that was a good portion of the party. We just spent like watching those two play punk music. And then this was in northern Vermont, and we had a chakra gig with our new singer for the first time down in southern Massachusetts at a university. And we just stayed. Trey showed up at like 4 a.m. or something, and we're like, oh, let's just stay. And we played more, and then like the sun's coming up, so we're like, we got to get to this gig. We go and get in the car, and the car like won't start, and the car is just like fucked. So we're like, we have this. Is me and my guitar player and a couple of friends. So we're like, what are we gonna do? And we just started walking. We're like, I don't know, 6-hour drive, 5-hour drive from the gig, and we just started walking. This is what you did back then. You didn't have cell phones. You didn't know what to do. So we just started walking, and we were like, we're gonna hitchhike to the gig. And we literally started walking. It was still like the sun was just coming up, and we just started walking to this gig, and like we hitched with like 4 or 5 different rides all the way down to southern Massachusetts, and we made it to. That might be the show. No, that's a different show. Look at my drums here, man. Look at the drums here. Who sets up drums like that? It's the most whack shit ever.
Is that Fishman playing?
That.
Is that a didgeridoo and a vacuum going at it, huh?
Oh, Fishman's on the vacuum over here. Okay, that's got to be
Great Scots.
Churchill's.
Is that Great Scots?
Great Scott? What? Oh,
do you remember that place?
Great Scott.
Oh, yeah, the little Irish bar in Boston. Huh?
You guys play there sometimes.
Is that what that is?
I don't know.
It doesn't. This is royalty-free photos, stock images. I'm on the fly here, dude. I don't know. Come on, give it up for Getty Images on the. Yeah.
That's amazing.
How have the Chakra reunions gone? They've all been in Colorado, right?
They were shocking, actually, Rob.
I wish I had the poster. It's upstairs. I'll bring it down for you, but they were fun. It was fun. We just had the one. That was it. Just the one show. One and done.
Not a chance of any more in New England. There are a lot of people who'd love to see Chakra in New England. I could tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah, we should try and do it in New England. That would be fun. But at this point, dreaming about shows is like, it's a little painful.
I know. Yeah.
Well, hold on, dude. Let's dive into that for a second to be all serious, right? Dreaming about shows. dreaming about shows. Are you dreaming about shows? Do you ever wake up in the middle of the night or the morning feeling like you just run a show? Like the energy, the feeling you got being in a show, that energy, like do you wake up in the middle of the night missing that? What's up like in your consciousness?
Well, I miss it. Yeah, no, I definitely like the feeling of like going on stage, the energy behind that, the sense of purpose. That's a big one. You know what I mean? Like that's our sense of purpose is like going on the road. We're going to play shows. We get the show to look forward to. Like people are excited, blah, blah. It's like that whole feeling and that rush and that like, this is who I am as a person is like a little intense to be, not connected with. And because, it's been like, okay, well, next month, well, which gigs are canceled now? And okay, the next month. And then you start hearing people talk about like 2021. And then a year from now, then they'll actually do a big show and Red Rocks won't happen until next year and blah, blah. It's like, it's like it becomes more and more like frustrating. And there's also the aspect of writing music. I tend to write music thinking about how to play it live. And it's just another.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay, like I can't think about that because it's too painful. You know what I mean? Like I don't know when I'm going to play this live. And part of the sort of inspiration that spurs you on to keep working on a song is knowing you're going to play it in front of a bunch of people and they're going to be getting down to it and imagining that, So it's just a different mindset and it's a little hard to wrap your head around sometimes. But I will say I used to always have these sort of nightmares, these night terrors where I'd be at a gig and all of a sudden I find myself
naked.
Like, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I would find myself on stage setting up my shit, but everyone's there, the audience and the band's all waiting for me. And I'm like, all my stuff's not set up yet. I'm like, oh crap. And I'm like trying to set up my stuff in front of everybody waiting for me. I haven't had one of those in a while, so that's good.
I have airport terrors.
Do you?
Yeah, that I'm late for a flight or I'm in some city and I have to take a shuttle to this, to that, and I'm going to be late and I'm going to be screwed, not have a place to stay.
Yeah. Not anymore.
And I hadn't been having them during all of this until the last couple of weeks. I've had a few of them, so I think I'm getting over this. You tell us about the Motet, though. Are you in touch with those guys? You in touch with Lyle? You're obviously creating on your own. Are you creating stuff specifically with the Motet in mind?
Yeah. I wrote a tune and recorded the whole thing down here, all the keyboards and synth bass, drums,
and then just give it to Lyle, right?
Yeah, and then he'll like lay down ideas and I'll chop it up and be like, well, this actually is a good verse or intro. And drummers are good at that, like placing the arrangement. And so I had different stuff, different ideas and he'd lay down different parts and I'd be like, oh, let's flip this and flip this. And then boom, there'd be the song. So he wrote the song called Quarantine Fantasy that you played on the show last week, right?
Yeah, we put it on the virtual variety show, and it's also available YouTube. If you go to Motet's YouTube page, it's on there, and it's quite good. But but it sounded like it was more than just you and Lyle, but it was just the two of you.
Yeah, I did all the keyboards here at home. It's amazing when you just get to know the programs, how you can. Well, what really happens? You did that on Logic. But if you start with drums, live drums, it makes everything sound better. If you start with
vocals,
drum, vocals. No, I'm just saying if you start with mechanical drums, quantized, pre-recorded, whatever,
metronome,
not live drums, I think you're starting off on the wrong foot because everything that from there on has a quantized feel to it. But if you start with live drums and then you move everything around to the drums, then it has a live feel to it. You know what I mean? So for me, I sit back here and I just play and come up with ideas and I just push record. It's one of the things that this quarantine's done is I've got my scene down here a lot better where I can record and get a decent sounding drum recording going. And I just like play grooves, go back later, listen to them and chop them up and make, tunes out of them basically.
And from the start, that was how Lyle made it pretty evident that he was perfect for it. You had a batch of material and you gave it to him, and it's just the same thing. He came back not just with completed songs, but also in some cases with multiple ideas for a song, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's like he hears it. He does really well if you give him really formulated ideas. If you give him just like something too simple, I don't think that inspires him. But when he hears, verses and choruses and sections moving, then he gets inspired to write creative stuff. So that's what happened with that one. It was pretty complete. And then he just, he's a master at harmony. He throws all these harmonies on there that makes the thing sound so lush and big, We're actually doing, I took the tune, right? This is the world we live in. It's like we're just working with such a different medium. But I took that same tune, and then I went down to the Boulder Theater, which is obviously completely dark right now. I called him up, my buddy Dave Weingarten, who runs the place, and asked if I could use the theater. And so they let me in there, and I re-recorded all the drums playing live through the whole thing, from being shot from the audience perspective in the theater with just me. And then I got Dominic. I got Dominic Lally to add sax to it from Big Gigantic, take all the little lead moments, and then Lyle's re-recording his from different spaces around where he lives, just to mix it up, the remix or whatever you call it.
Now, I like that idea, but I'm curious to know, like, what your thoughts are on the next phase. So, and I say this because it's one thing to do stuff where you're sharing, like we're talking about. It's another thing to take, like, we can open up the space, we can get 10 to 15, maybe 20 people together, and now we can do a live concert without the audience, or maybe the audience is, your pod of quarantine and, the others. So you're talking about going to a venue, like you said, the theater, only having 30 people there and creating this live show that now you're streaming. What happens there? What's your thoughts there? Is that a space that you're excited to move into, or are you just like, fuck that, let's just get back to live?
I mean, honestly, I'd rather play in a small place in front of 30 people than go to a big place, just because that's what we're used to doing.
No, it's because the social distancing thing.
I know, but I mean, I would rather play in front of 6 people in a small room than 30 people in a giant room. Okay. You know what I mean? Because the sound's going to be better in a big room or in a small room. So I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, there's all these movie theater gigs happening.
Yeah, the drive-in. See, I'm
like, what if it sucks?
Well, but not just what if it sucks. Like, Dave,
like, people are like, this sucks, man. Like, I want to get out and dance.
Right, and then if they get out and dance,
drinking, the cops are like right outside the freaking venue waiting for me to leave. It's like it's a setup.
Who's going to be the one to manage that? Who's going to be the one to what's the word I'm looking for? To police that or whatever. Like, get back in your car. Like, I see this big show in Texas coming up. I'm like, oh, in Texas, oh, that's gonna work really well when you have to go to people and be like, sorry, get back in your car. Be like, fuck you, I'm American. You're like, oh, I'm dreading that. Yeah.
It's they're doing one. My buddies in Magic Beans are doing one up in Fort Collins. We were just like, they're like, well, you get 4 people per car, and it's like, yeah, and there's gonna be like 6 in the trunk. You know what I mean? Like, people are going to be like sneaking in.
I did that when I was at the air show when I was 7 years old. So yes, they're going to be sneaking in the trunk. It's going to happen.
Yeah, and they're going to be like, oh, you can't dance or what? I don't know.
But who?
And you can only listen to the car stereo. It's like, what?
That's the other thing. Is it going to be through the car stereo and through an FM frequency, or are we going to go like
how the sound
quality would be? Can I bring a boombox and make cassettes like at the fish festivals?
More importantly, Rob, Dave, let's look in here. Rob, let's see your glass. Let's get it. Let's up and close with Rob Turner, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, I do have a question.
Where is he? Where first? Let's see where you're at. Oh my God,
wow.
Dave.
Wow.
Hear me out on this. Boulder. The times I've been there, one thing I've noticed is that downtown, when I've been there, looks like it's early '80s Dead Tour all year round. There's like just people hanging out. People, their tents, just people chilling, hippie scene. During this quarantine, was it? Did they crack down on downtown Boulder? Was it Was it
No,
pretty
I
clean
mean,
down
well,
there?
when was the last time you were in Boulder?
Well, it's been a while. When did the
47 years.
No, it's about 6-7 years. 6-7 years ago.
7, yeah. No, they when I moved to Boulder 25 years ago, it was craziness down there, and it was craziness on the hill. There was like it was like you said, dead tour, kids stopping there.
Every
But
day.
honestly, in the last 5 to 10 years, that's all cleaned up.
I called it Dead Tour without the forgotten lyrics.
Dirty, but what's that?
I called it Dead Tour without the forgotten lyrics.
Yeah, it was lots of that, lots of kids on tours, lots of like puppies on a string, lots of, like you said, people like just camped out downtown, but they cleared that out. But I was down there when I did that shoot for the song down at the Boulder Theater. It was right back to where it used to be. There was tents and like lots of homeless people. It was a lot more homeless and travelers because they're like cutting everybody a break, I think.
Were they social distancing? Were they wearing masks?
No.
Well, let's zoom in and find out, Rob. Let's see here. I've got a live video stream right here.
Really? Is that Google
And-
of
Oh yeah,
Boulder?
no, this is Google Boulder right here. We're gonna get
By
a
the
little
way,
closer and see.
If I may say to people who've never been to Boulder, the town is surrounded by mountains, so often
It's beautiful.
weather systems will go around it.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It's perfect. Stay away. Well,
Well
when
said.
I first came out to Colorado many years ago when I was. Thank you, Mark Reckler, for headjams.com. I think I actually have I got the somewhere back there on my Jam Cruise, a little Head Jams thing. But yeah, Mark Reckler got me out there when I graduated college, and I interviewed you. I stayed in your commune at that point.
Hold it, which
The
one?
interview. I thought it was Netherlands. I really do, but it was with a bus. Any rate, though.
I used to dance like a
Anyway,
motherfucker.
but I remember going. I remember
okay,
going
hold on.
through
I know
Boulder.
That one was called Seven Springs. Yes,
Ah,
that was
maybe.
after Double Dig. You're right. We had the bus up there, Purple Bus. We called it Grimace. We had 2 different houses up there. We had a lake. Yeah, it was awesome.
But now
Seth,
in
we're almost
Boulder,
out of
though,
time. I'll point
that's
you.
fine. We have, my son's watching a movie. We got another half hour if we want. My day was really.
I just
rough.
want him to
I'm
show
gonna
with
get
that trumpet.
I'll bring him out here if you want, but
Little djembe, little trumpet.
yeah, there is video, Rob. I sent you of yesterday. We were testing this out, and Watts and I were we're doing this.
you
And
record
Daryl
that?
comes out. Yeah, I recorded. He comes right behind me. My trumpet. And
me
so
tell
I
it.
get.
Can I tell a quick Seth trumpet story?
Oh,
Well, hold on, but in a second,
Okay.
and then Daryl brings out my son, 7-year-old, brings out the djembe. I'm like, go get the drum. So he gets a drum. I put the headphones on, and Dave's like, ba-da, and he's like, da-ga-da-ga-da.
Yeah, he
And
did
so I'm
good.
like, fuck it, have a nice little lesson.
Yeah, he
You
did
give my
good.
son a lesson.
Yeah, it was good. And he even stopped when I told him to stop. That
He
was
doesn't do that
actually
for me.
impressive. Yeah.
Because you're famous. You're
You're
famous.
Yeah,
All right,
he's-
Rob, what's your question?
It's not a question. It's a story. We have these local jam sessions. All the local jazz cats come and get down on stage. Incredible players. And I was front row at one of them. And Seth comes up on the side of stage, and I'm looking at him like, he's just talking to musicians, right? He's just talking. Next thing I know, sure enough, he gets on stage with his trumpet. And I'm like, wow. And he's kind of doing like that, kind of like Miles Davis's third cousin kind of thing. And I turn around to look back to, thinking I'd see people giggling or laughing. And Jeff Coffin is there with his phone, shooting every second of it with this huge smile on his face. So I can't hate on Seth's trumpet playing too much when someone like Jeff Coffin is a freaking fan.
If you get him on your
playing.
podcast, then you got to get him to play that. See if he still has it on his phone.
Oh, I have it. I sent
He's
it to
been
my
on.
sister. I sent it to my sister. I'm like, Robin, you know, that's me playing the trumpet. She goes, yeah. I'm like, you know who recorded that? She goes, who? I go, the sax player from Dave Matthews. She goes, what? You're that good?
Or that bad. I mean,
I tell
Oh,
other
that
friends.
bad?
I tell other friends it's the president of group Ground Up Records.
Oh,
No,
gosh.
not
Oh,
Ground Up.
gosh. No.
Damn it! What's the name of his record label?
But you're talking about coffins?
Yeah. Oh
So,
my god, I'm blanking. I'm gonna
I
look
know,
that up.
I am too now.
You take over. Ear
I'm
up.
gonna
Ear
go.
up. Ear up.
Okay, say it.
I want to get that in there. Ear up in Nashville. Go on.
Ear up.
So back to the Boulder story. So I'm visiting you, Dave, and I'm driving around Boulder, and I'm like so confused. I'm like, is that a homeless person with dreads walking 5 babies in a stroller? Or is that Jeremy Sulkin? No, I'm just kidding. No, but like, you know what I mean? Like the Boulder stories are amazing because you have like you have the diversity there of these old school deadhead kind of vibed out folks. And then you have the stories like the Jeremy Sulkin story, who's like just moved Jeremy from Big Gigantic. If you're not familiar, you should be, but he gets to Boulder. And what I think, weren't you in the part of that story where he like sees you on the streets and like ends up like jamming, or I don't know if it was you, but yeah, was it you? Or he like bumped into someone. He was like in Boulder, bumped into someone like, oh, come jam with us or something. And yada, 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 you know?
Probably. I don't know. Remember that one.
What other musicians do you remember from your Boston days, Mr. Dave?
What's that?
What other members?
Jamaica Plains.
No, don't go over that Jamaica. Don't go over that room again. We spent like 20 minutes trying to guess the name of that room. We've established.
That was a long time ago. I mean, Neptune is definitely the best memories of Boston.
The Neptune Club.
No, Neptune, my house.
Oh, that was the place in Newton near the Sheraton Terra.
Yeah, you remember? They tore that down.
I think we came by a couple times. I had a friend that lived right near there around the same time.
Oh, nice.
But it's all a blur.
Boston's amazing, right? What a fucking great city.
It was back
then. Let me ask you something though. Eric Krasno, Lettuce, all these guys. I mean, were you still there when Lettuce and all those guys were babies grooming, or where were you? I'm not trying to age you.
The first time I hung with Kraz, he told me that when he was in high school in southern New Hampshire, he organized.
That damn mic.
You're breaking up on us again. You're breaking up. I'm buying you a new mic, bro. I'm buying you a new mic. We're doing this again. I need a mic sponsor.
It's probably the cable. All right. Should I start over?
Back in the day when you were... Go ahead.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. Let me finish this story. Kraz organized his high school trip to come see Chakra at this club in Brattleboro, New Hampshire. Vermont,
yeah.
So he used to see Chakra when he was in high school.
That's amazing.
I had moved out of Boston, I'm pretty sure, by the time he got to Berkeley. I think he went to Berkeley.
Yeah, you were at Berkeley like 91 to 93.
I used to play in a band called Homunculus with the...
How do you spell that?
Don't ask
Homo
me.
nucleus.
Yeah. Look it up. With the horn player singer whose name was Al Flamer. And he turned out to be the singer rapper of a band called Fat Bag.
Oh
yeah.
Fat Bag
yeah.
featured Deitch and Schmeens, maybe one other dude from Lettuce. I don't know. Fat Bag was like a Lettuce offshoot, or was a pre-Lettuce group.
That was post Fat Mama.
Oh yeah, Fat Mama's Boulder. Fat Bag was Boston.
I thought Fat Mama was Boston. No.
Nah, some of those guys might have been from Boston, but that was Joe Russo and Eric Deitch.
Yeah, Joe and not Deitch. Was it Deitch? Deutsch. Deutsch. Deitch.
I got a friend named Deitch, so I get them all.
I feel bad for Deutsch though. He well, I feel bad for all musicians, but he split with Leftover, right?
Yeah.
A couple like weeks before Corona hit, to go like tour with some major name pop artist, or I forget. I'm embarrassed to say that, but it was like a legit gig that was like he did not want to leave Leftover, I'm sure, but how could he not for such a good gig? I mean, it was a paid gig that was gonna world tour. Like, fuck, come on.
So now he's out of Leftover?
Yeah.
Well, I guess. I mean, but
it's not like either.
I mean,
touring, so he'll get back to it, I'm sure.
True, but you want to be in the band up to the hiatus.
What's up with those Boston musicians is my point, though. My God, you guys, like, was it in the water? Was in the water? That was up with that.
Do musicians from other states talk about masshole musicians?
Yeah.
In
yeah.
In a negative way? We're snotty.
No, it's just a good way to give them shit because they're always shit giving. It's
Fair enough.
yeah, it's if you're from Boston and you can't take shit, then you just gotta leave. You know? So that's part of life. It's a compliment to have someone give you shit.
Yes, thank you.
It's the Northeast thing, really, but
hey Rob,
on Twitter.
I want to try this real quick. Hey Rob, go fuck yourself.
You give people the wrong.
It doesn't work.
You know, some of these people on social media who are famous from being fans of a band or a sports team, those tend to be the one you'd think they'd have a sense of humor because their fame is built on someone else's work. But no, they tend to be the touchiest ones. You have to be really careful what you say to those types.
All right, we're gonna close up. We're gonna close up right now with looking at a game here. Now, Dave, I want you to play this. Listeners, you can try to play if you want, but ladies and gentlemen, tonight, Rob Turner behind in his room, you'll notice there's a white cloth. That white cloth is covering something. Dave, here's an A, B, or C. You get to guess. A, is it a dead body? B, is it his dog who he forgot to feed for the last week? Or C, 742 cassette tapes that he has not yet listened to since 1984. What is it, Dave?
I think that's a no-brainer. It's guaranteed to be 740 cassettes of Grateful Dead music.
But they have
Show us that. Let's see.
Wait. The ones over here have been listened to. They're about to be given away. But
ladies and gentlemen, play close attention and the unveiling. Oh my God, Dave Watts, you won a brand new microphone.
I'm going to hold you to that.
I got an Amazon one. I'll give you my son's Amazon one. He just pounded Bam the other day. Fuck you, Dad. No, he's actually. You know what though? I gotta give my kid respect. When he gets mad at me, he does not take his guitar, his ukulele, his cello. Okay. Well, that's a different story. But he doesn't take the musical instruments and bang them or break them. So
got more respect for the instruments. I get it.
And I'll give his son some respect too. When his son gets mad at Seth, he makes me glad I don't have kids.
It's the best form of birth control.
Yes. What is this? A Will Baumgartner has
read
a comment for you. We're going to close with this one comment that Will sends. Dave, you can read it.
You were one of the first.
Oh, sorry. You, Rob, you do it.
You were one of the first to welcome me here 20 years ago, and I got to say, thanks again. Still have fond memories of the party you invited my band to play at and the jam afterwards with Travis et al. And Fat Mama was the very first group I sat in with here, since y'all are talking about them now. Thanks for the stories. And the last, thank you, Will Baumgartner, for checking in with that. That's very cool.
Old school. What up, Will? It's been a
Before we let you go, Dave, Motet fans want to know, you've alluded to that you're writing and you're doing all that. Is there anything conceptually with the songs falling in place in your mind as a potential record?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that has to be the case. You know what I mean? Like, this time period has to be an investment into our future, because otherwise we're just wasting this precious moment. Not touring? Oh, my God. There's like I have so much time to write and to work on music. If we didn't come up with an album from this and a body of material that we can expand on, it's like, what a waste. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And it's the waste there. But are you feeling this too? Like, isn't it kind of a weird feeling right now? The first 2 months were like, this is happening. It's kind of like, but like all of a sudden it's like,
it's starting to get to me.
It's all like, there's so many changes. Like, the wine too. Yeah.
Why do you think I've gone through this?
We're getting into this shift though. We're getting into the shift where, like, Dave, if it was, you know what, I'm gonna do this with my time. I'm gonna write music. I'm gonna do this. Now all of a sudden, 2 months, 3 months, it's like you're doing whatever you're doing, but it's not like, oh, I'm gonna go learn this. It's like, well, you're gonna be learning that for several months. The time is it's moving, man. It's moving forward, and it's time for us to buckle in.
Yeah. Someday I want to.
The next step is for us to get in the same room and make music together in the same room. You know what I mean? Like, this is a time period where everyone's sending music out to each other and we're all learning how to use Final Cut Pro and doing all this other shit. But it's like,
or StreamYard, as we're doing tonight.
Exactly. Some of it's not yet tested
Hey,
quite as well as it should be.
And before we
I
go,
spent time with it.
themotet.com. You can support the man by buying merchandise. They have all kinds of stuff. Seth is going to make 3 great videos that Dave has made available. We watched one, but it was a little clunky. Seth, where are people going to be able to see those 3?
Why, thanks for asking, Rob. You can check out the Motet's Facebook page, also Positive Legacy's Facebook page, and WTNS's Facebook page. We'll have them all there, as well as all of the social. Basically, just if you're tuned in here, you're going to know where to find it because you found us. Yeah, go for it.
I did get to hear this earlier. It was awesome.
Hey, Rob, shh, quiet. A big thanks to Positive Legacy for hosting us this evening.
Blessings to Puerto Rico. Seth, why don't you show them how to donate again, too, after this?
My arm's getting tired.
Well, thank you so much. We'll put it live everywhere again, as we have right on the bottom of the screen. That is the Support Motet's Crew Fund. Please copy that URL, go there, as well as to positivelegacy.com to support crew from all over. And Rob Turner, you're doing something
Where's that
here. What are you
screen
doing?
you had before showing people how to donate? There was a screen.
It's on the bottom right there. It says
No,
support.
you had a whole screen thing and the whole.
Yeah, but that
Yeah,
doesn't
there
give
it
you
is.
the,
Yeah. Cool.
That's what you want. Also, be sure to go back to Inside Out WTNS and check out our latest episode with Jesse Lauder, Uncle Jesse. That's episode 98, and Rob Turner.
Oh, Seth, I got to tell you something. I'm getting heat. I'm getting heat from listeners. And I should bare my soul right in front of Dave Watts because he'll be ashamed at this. But I need to finish that. We have the music now. I have no excuses anymore. I need to finish the Billy Cobham episode, and it's awesome. And you will love it, Dave. I want you to listen to that too, please.
Oh! Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Dave Watts, I love you, man. You're a great guy.
you.
Thank you for taking your time. You were busy this weekend. You had the Spirit of the Swanee Spirit Razor this weekend you were a part of, and you're just a busy man. And
I'm
thanks.
everywhere. I'm all over the place.
You're
Keep doing
everywhere
you.
but
I'm in
there.
the living room. I'm in the basement.
That's your book right there, bro. Everywhere from there.
Keep doing you. High watt, high voltage awesomeness.
Love you guys.
Oh, wait. Rob Turner. One last big face. Show us your wine.
Wait,
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you again another time for Beyond the Music. Dave Watts, we'll see you soon. Thanks, everybody.